Batista gets this, and they do the tag match to end the show, and Boone says, nah, man, they're going to do the 3-on-1. This match ended with by DQ. We had Ted DiBiase got the win in that, and then they went right in from that. Oh, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. Well, actually, we had that segment with Chavo and Vicky Guerrero backstage where Chavo basically said, I got these ideas, but I know you're the general manager, but these ideas are really good. And she kind of agreed with him, but to me it seemed like they were teasing tension to come in the next few weeks. We'll have to wait and see, especially next week, to see if they continue to do backstage segments and things like that. I don't think they're going to take Vicky Guerrero. I don't think they have any plans to take her off of Monday Night Raw, unless ratings continue to slip like last week, where they have a 3.4 rating, which is down from a 3.7. But SmackDown was also down last week to about a 1.6, and they bounced back this week to a 1.9. So last week, ECW was down, Impact was down last week as well. They drew a 1.2. So last week for pro wrestling was down as a whole. Everybody was down, to be honest with you. Raw, ECW, SmackDown. Well, not last week, 2 weeks ago. And then last week, SmackDown bounced back. This past Friday's edition of SmackDown bounced back to a 1.9. So that was good news for them. But then we jumped into the Brian Kendrick versus Carlito. This was pretty quick right before our main event. Carlito got the pin. Shows what happens, man. You smoke a little bit of pot in WWE, and boy, do they kill you. You know what I mean? I mean, this poor guy, Kendrick, had the push over on SmackDown and comes over to Raw, and they're already jobbing him out. He's one of those guys. You never know. You never know. I mean, right now he's just in that jobber role, used to put guys over, like Carlito last night on Raw. And, the guy's got heat, and we'll have to see about his future for sure. I don't know how. It's crazy. It's crazy because it's a little bit of pot. The guy goes out and smokes a little bit of pot and then comes back. They warn him to stop, and then they kill his push. They automatically kill the push. You say one wrong thing to the wrong agent backstage, they kill your push. To a member of management, one wrong thing, they kill your push. And it happens time and time again.
Lead by example. There's always has to be that scrap goat in the mix, and unfortunately, because Brian has unfortunate things, habits, I guess you would want to call it, personal habits that he maintains, and because of that, you fall into the situation.
It's not like the guy's out doing cocaine or he's out doing this and that, da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm not going to put over smoking pot, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that pot is not something where you should kill the guy's push on it. I mean, you find the guy, you give him a couple fines, you test him again, da-da-da-da. And, the guy's failed, 10 times? I think it was in Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter that he had failed numerous times. So maybe it's just a case of, all right, we've warned you enough, and this is it. You know what I mean? Now we're going to show you if you don't quit smoking pot. I mean, we don't care. It could lead to you losing your job. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not. Does the guy want a paycheck? They don't care. They could care less. You know what I mean? If you want a paycheck, quit smoking the pot, and we'll push it. You know what I mean?
And I think that's probably where the most critical point right now.
Yeah. There's got to be a line drawn.
But it's again, you got to lead that by example. You got to sit there and say to yourself, all right, yeah, granted, it's not a lot worse, but the bottom line is there's no certain goods or bad. It's either bad or it's good, and smoking pot is bad, period, So that's how it's looked at, and
smoking cigarettes is bad too,
What's that?
I said smoking cigarettes is bad too. You know, but I
understand. You know, there's two different things that you're unfortunately trying to compare. But the bottom line is, again, it's just all about that. Lead by example. It's all about that scrapgoat where you got one individual that likes to do it, allegedly that likes to do it, and you just sit there and you get told and you still. Yeah,
but I can tell you that there's main event guys that smoke pot that have been fined for it before. And they don't get it. They don't go out there and get squashed on a weekly basis. They pay the fine and they continue. These are main event guys. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of maybe there's some favoritism. You know what I mean? As far as especially with Randy Orton. I mean, remember a lot of people. There were rumors that he had a third strike on him, and we know that they postponed his second suspension after the pay-per-view, where he went out there and worked the pay-per-view, and then they suspended him after that. You know what I mean? Whereas if it was a guy like the Brian Kendrick, he would have been suspended on the spot, sent home 60 days, no questions asked, whether he had a pay-per-view match or not. You know what I mean? But because it was a main event storyline, they went on with the pay-per-view and then the suspension after it. So I mean, there is favoritism as it pertains to the main eventers, to the mid-card guys. You know what I mean? And it's sad because I mean, a guy like Brian Kendrick, Paul London too. Paul London's back out on the indie scene, but I remember Kendrick in Ring of Honor, who was amazing, absolutely amazing. You know what I mean? So I mean, I'm sure that's where he would wind up going. If he was, in fact, released from WWE. And it's never a good sign when you're jobbed out week after week after week. And another guy is R-Truth, Ron Killings, who we've seen very sporadically in recent weeks. And it's never a good sign when you're brought to TV on a weekly basis and you're not being used or you're being jobbed out. You know what I mean? So guys like that with spring cleaning coming up here in the next few weeks. They did a conference call, their first quarter conference call, I believe, last week. Did you listen to that, by the way? That was very, very good last week with Vince McMahon taking those questions. Although some of the stockholders, especially that one guy, did you listen to it or no?
No, unfortunately, I did not get a chance.
Dude, I gotta send you the link. I should actually post that. I put it up on the website. It was in a Vince McMahon post last week, and it had a link where you could see a video of the conference. And if you guys didn't check that out, I'll put that up on WZROnline.com after we go off the air. Hopefully, I won't forget. But that is some must-listen to stuff from last week. So back to Monday Night Raw, because you didn't listen. I'm not going to go into the one stockholder was asking about Divas and real cocky, like that cocky New Yorker. You know, you live close to New York, man. You go to the city, you know the real cocky, just the mean asshole. You know what I mean? In New York City, just that cocky New Yorker. And this guy was, you could tell Vince was pretty irritated by the time he got to his third question. So that was, you got to go back and look. I'll put the link up on WZROnline.com, like I said, after we go off the air. Hey, main event of Monday Night Raw, we had a handicap match, 3-on-1. What'd you think of the match overall, and then the big injury angle to Shane McMahon's leg after it was over?
Like I said before earlier in the show, I would rather see more credibility on the main event. To have Shane to fight those three and then to maintain that long, it's just I wasn't really sold on it. I would have liked to see MVP a part of that, not Batista. But, you know, it was okay. It's another injury from Shane. It's redundant. I think it's just getting a little boring. I think they need to change the approach some form of way because we're seeing it every single week. Either Shane gets over 1 week or Randy gets over 1 week. And, you know, and then once Triple H comes back, he's going to get over. Excuse me. So, to me, I just feel we're seeing the same episode with different finishes every single week right now.
Hey, you want to take some live phone calls? Let me give the number out one more time. 724-444-7444, 302-734-8255. 833, followed by the pound key. Give us a call right now, and we'll answer your questions. WWE, TNA, ROH, UFC, boxing, whatever you want to talk about. Oliver Green from the chat room. You're live on WZR Radio. What's on your mind?
Hey, nothing much. Well, I actually have a question regarding to the SmackDown main event picture. It doesn't seem like there's that many faces. Mm-hmm. And with Jeff Hardy's whole contract situation, I was wondering if there's going to be anybody else besides John Morrison that's going to be pushed to the main event.
Here's the deal. Like you said, John Morrison is going to be pushed as a major face. They teased that last week on SmackDown.